again to another edition of African Growth Tribes monthly webinars. However, um, some slight changes to our name. So now we are Growth Community for Learning and Professional Development. So yes, we are still the same people, same content, same level of training and what have you, and but with just a slight change in the name. Yes. So thank you so much for joining us today. We are going to be diving a little deeper, and it's like an extension from our webinar from last month. Last month we talked about how to build a globally relevant career, right? And we had Ben Diagi and Emmanuel Ogunwede with us, and it was spectacular, right? Now this time around, we are moving. You've learned how to have a globally relevant career, yes, but how then do you uh, position yourself, right? And if there's anything that the word that has been thrown around for a couple of times over the years and all of, is personal branding. And so I know that you would wonder, what is personal branding? What does it look like? Or is it actually what people say that personal branding is? Or is it a branding that is personal? Now, I do not have the local standard per se to give you all the answers to these questions or how you should approach personal branding. But I certainly do have somebody whose feet I'm not worthy to, whatever, who is going to take us through that journey, and then answer a few questions and give us insights. And I can assure you that this person would not it's not an abstract talker. It's not something that, oh, they just conjoined from the internet and they're telling us. It's something that they have applied, she has applied rather, to herself. And this person is also a co-founder of Growth Community for Learning and Professional Development, and she's also a doctoral researcher. Yes, yes. So permit me to bring into the studio on the stage Esther Idogo. Please, I'm so happy to have you. Thank you so much for joining us. Esther, if you can hear me clearly, please review yourself now. Review yourself.
Uh,
And
okay,
let
I
me know
think
if
the
you can hear me
introduction.
clearly as well.
Yes, I can hear you clearly. I just feel like the introduction was just a bit overwhelming with the person I'm not worthy. Please, bring me down. I
Yeah.
don't think it's, I don't think it's that deep. Well, thank you so much, Abisoye. Thank you all for joining. Yes, my name is Esther, and today we're going to talk about personal branding. And I do not want the class to be a theory class. So it's going to be like pretty practical. We're going to do something together to understand what personal branding is. Because just like you mentioned in the introduction, that's a term that is used very common. And I just feel like everybody's talking about branding, branding, branding. And in this era of social media, it's everywhere. So it's a good thing that at AGT, well, we are known as AGT. Now we are incorporated and is now growth. I'm still trying to learn the new name of the incorporation, but we can still stick with AGT. I'm glad that AGT is doing this and we get to talk about what personal branding is, especially for early to mid career people. So thank you for having me, Abisoye, once more. Okay, can you hear me, Abisoye? Hello. I think someone's network is going on leave, but let me see if I can reach her. All right. So while we're waiting for Abisoye to get back, I think she's having network issue. We can just as well proceed with what we have planned for today, while we're hopeful that her network will come back. Um, I just want to be sure that I can be heard so I can continue. And I want to see if we have.
All right, yes. I'm sorry, but I think my network is just misbehaving.
Okay, so
But if you hear me
you can hear me.
clearly, yes. Thank you so much. Thank you. So I think that the first question I'm going to be asking, I don't know if you can hear me clearly. The first question I'm going to be asking you, and I really want you to like to go.
I didn't hear your question, Abisoye. Sorry, what was your question?
Yes. So I was saying that for those, who are transitioning from early career execution.
Okay, I think I have your question. I think you sent it to me, so let me check for it. If I hear you correctly, you are asking for those that are transitioning from early career execution to mid career leadership. What is the first digital audit one should perform to ensure their brand matches their new ambition? All right, that's a good question, actually. I was going to do a little exercise with this. So I don't know how many people we have currently live. Um, what I'm going to suggest that we do is, including you, Abisoye, I want you to Google your name. Just put your name on Google and tell me what you see. If you're impressed by what you see, just give us a thumbs up or just type wow. And then if you are surprised by what you see, just type AWO. So my name is Idogo Esther. I'm going to put it out in Google and search or whatever search engine you use, Safari, Microsoft Bing, whatever one you use. So just put your name, your first and last name in your browser, and then tell us what you see. If you are impressed by what you see, you can type a wow in the comment section. If what you see is nothing to write home about, you can type an AWO or you can just put an exclamation mark. So this would help us answer the question, right? I would have asked for volunteers so that I would use your feedback to um, discuss further. But let's just continue. So if you're transitioning from, let's say, from one career path to another, from early to mid, I think the first audit you should do is to check your digital footprint. So what is your digital footprint, which is what we just did. That is you checking for your name on any search engine. What do you see? Do you see Esther the dancer? Or let me use myself. I'm a doctoral researcher in agriculture. So when I put my name Idogo Esther, the first five things that pops up, is it about me having a girls' night out in Ibiza? Is it about me dancing in the club? Or is it about me being the life of the party? Or my name doesn't even show up at all? Or what comes up is maybe my Bet Niger account. I don't know if they released that, or my Niger Pals account. Maybe just random things, right? If that's what you see, then I think you have a lot of work to do, because your digital audit already shows you as not even a early career person. Even if you're a student, right, it should be able to show something about you. That's where your social media account comes in. They can rank in the first algorithm, the first three feedbacks when you search for your name. So imagine you have like a LinkedIn account, For example, when you put your name and you search, your LinkedIn account should pop up, and that should be able to tell us who you are, what you do, because your headline is going to come out. It's going to read as Ambrose, Helena, John, technical advisor, or something like Musa Ade, computer engineering student at XYZ school. So those are the things you should see. Now, I believe for early career people, it means you're done with at least basic BSc degree. And I should be able to see that you're a professional person and you're trying to transition to another mid-career or another field. So your first thing would be to check your digital footprint. Is it aligning? If it's not, then you begin to do intentional work. If you Google my name, Ijogo Esther, I know what will come out. The first thing that will pop up will be my LinkedIn account, and you say doctoral researcher in agricultural biotech, also known as, she also refers to herself as the agric storyteller. Shows you a couple of the stories I've written in agriculture, trying to break the complex scientific research that I do into relatable everyday story that the layman can understand, because food is what everybody eats. So I believe we should also understand what agricultural research is, how the food we eat comes about. So when leave the whole big names of when I talk about chimerism, mutation, epigenetics, it can be broken down into basic terms for people to see. And that's what you see when you check for my name. So that's my first, like, I think that's the way I would approach that question. That the first audit would be to do like a search engine audit. What comes out when your name is mentioned or when your name is searched in the room? I was going to ask that I was going to also ask that when you hear names like Dangote, Wole Soyinka, Chimamanda, something comes to your mind. You hear Chimamanda, you're like, oh, Purple Hibiscus, she's a writer and all that. I know that life is in phases, right? You're not there yet. But when I search for your name on the internet, what can I see about you? Am I seeing the current career you are in as a data engineer or as a BSc student, as a makeup artist or whatever it is that you do? Am I seeing that? Um, am I seeing that, or am I seeing just random things on your page? So that's, I think that's like the first audit we can do for ourselves as early career people transitioning or moving into another field. Bisoye seems to be having a lot of technical issues, so we will try to see what we can make out of today's webinar. And while we wait for her to come back, let's see. I had a couple of questions sent to me before now, so let's see how many we can run through. And when she's back, we'll see what we can get out of it. So I have a question here that says, how do you balance maintaining a consistent brand identity while allowing yourself room to pivot or grow into new industries? I think before I answer this, I would just want to define, like, when you hear personal branding, what comes to your mind? For me, there are lots of definitions online about what personal branding is, but I think I would say branding is just basically who you are and what you do. So when I hear some names like we mentioned earlier, when I hear Chimamanda, I think of writing, I think of an author. That's who I define her as. Not just who I define her as, but that's like what she has defined herself as. That's what she has portrayed herself to be. When I hear Otedola for Nigerians, or I hear Elon Musk, my mind goes to a serial investor in the tech space for Elon Musk. When I hear Warren Buffett, I'm thinking about an investor that is excellent at what he does and all that. So branding is when you hear your name or when your name is mentioned in the room or when I search for your name, what do I attribute your name to? So I think 21st century has now made it a bit more serious or a bit more intentional, because previously we had like companies as brand because companies like Coca-Cola, when you hear Coca-Cola, Coke, Fanta, when you hear of Guinness and all that. Now we're in the era of people now becoming a brand. Tony Elemelu is a brand. You now have individuals becoming a brand based off what they do, based off who they are in their career, and based off so many other things. You also now go to the era of influencer marketing and all that, where you have like social media influencers. They are brands. If you hear Uncle Eric, something comes to your mind as a young person. If you hear names like Tomike and all those people come to your mind that these are individuals and there's something you remember them for. So I think if even if you don't remember anything I say today, just take it that branding is who you are. Branding is like defining or an art of defining who you are and what you do. So if that is what we say branding is, so how do you now maintain a consistent identity while allowing yourself room to pivot or grow in new industry? So I would say, let's, for example, I am a nurse, right? Or I'm a medical personnel. How do I grow in my career as a medical personnel while also trying to add tech to it? While also trying to be a tech person? I think I would use Aproko Doctor as my case study because he's a practicing medical doctor, right? But he also has yes, his contents are mainly based on health related, but he's also a content creator. Aside being a medical doctor, he's also a content creator. So while growing in his medicine, he had grown in his medicine field for a couple of years before he even started content creation. And he didn't blow overnight. He's been doing this for, I'm not so sure, but maybe up to 10 years. When he started, he wasn't this big, but the consistency, he wasn't focused on content creation, he was focused on his career as a medical certified medical doctor and all that. And then he started talking about medicine to the general audience using digital tools like Instagram. I think I first heard about him on Instagram, on Facebook, and all that. So the consistency is, I define consistency as doing what you can do when you can do it. I don't believe there's a hard and fast rule to it. I don't believe consistency should be about you showing up every day, every day, every day. Consistency is about you defining when you show up and showing up when you say you will show up. So I have a very busy schedule. I cannot be on digital platforms every day. I don't have the bandwidth, but I can decide to be on digital platform at least once a week. Like Bemileke Anthony, my co-founder as well. She doesn't write every day on LinkedIn. She writes once in a while. Even her Substack, she doesn't write every day. I think she writes in Substack maybe once a week or once a month because I follow her. Same thing with her LinkedIn, but define your consistent pattern. And while you're defining that, if it's once a week, that works for you. If it's twice a week, also build, gain the skill sets you need, the certification you need in the new industry. At a point, you can be able to merge the both of them. That's the truth. You can become so good at the both of them that you can merge it. Now you're having things like health tech. You're having medical certified medical doctors that are also content creators. There are about 3 or 4 that I know about. I just don't remember their full names. Um, but I'm sure if I put up their pictures, some persons will identify them. You're having agri tech, you're having, like what I do, agri communications, people that are professional agriculturists or agricultural researchers, but are also professional communication people. Because one field that suffers the most is that we believe in agriculture, food will sell itself because everybody eats food. But if you don't communicate food properly, people won't know about it. People won't even eat it. People won't. There's a lot of miscommunication about agricultural research just based off the fact that researchers don't talk. We're too busy in the lab. So you can build a career in the second part or improve yourself in the other part and get to a point where you can now merge them together, or you can build a correlation between them. You can do agri media, you can do med tech or media tech, whatever it is that works. I think also this lady talked about it. What's her name? Temi Badu. She does communications. and that's her professional training. But she wanted a communication focused on, she started building her career in communications, but she wanted a communications that is focused on, what do you call it, climate change. So she started attending conferences about environment and all that, to the point where she now became an authority by merging both of them together. And now she talks about communication, but communicating just climate change related issues. I hope that helps to answer the question, Abisuri. Are you back? Are you back, Abisuri? I see you, but I don't know if you're back because you're muted. Hello, Abisuri. Can you hear me? All right, no problem. While we're still waiting for Abisuri and her network that is dangling today, I don't know why. Oh, your mic is muted if you're talking. So your mic is muted. I don't know if you can hear Abisuri, but I cannot hear her. Let me see if somebody in the comment section can help me. Let me check if somebody can hear her because I cannot hear her. Okay, Godwin. Godwin, can you reply me if you can hear Abisuri apart from me? Because I can only hear myself. I want to be sure if Abisuri is saying something. If not, we can just move forward to the next questions before we leave room for live questions and answer before the section ends. While I'm waiting for feedback, just so that our time does not stretch out without us doing something meaningful with it. I have a question here that says, beyond social media and public speaking, what are the most effective ways to build a brand internally within an organization? Well, I kind of like this question because we are now in the era of everybody. Okay, you can't hear her, but you can hear me, Godwy, right? That means you can hear me, so that's fine. So we continue. Um, I kind of like this question because it seems like the only way to do personal branding right now is just social media. Everybody is posting, everybody wants to be a content creator. And with the whole rave or monetization of social media platforms like X recently and all that, everybody wants to create something, everybody wants to post something, whether it is even worth it and on or not. So if I want to build a personal brand within an organization where I want outside where I work outside of social media, I would say one or two key things would be that be competent at what you do, be excellent at what you do, be that person that when they are discussing in the office and they're like, oh, there's a problem, how do we solve it? They say, oh, go and meet Esther. Esther will always solve it. I have my system is faulty. Let's say I'm a tech expert in a company, or I work as a data engineer, or maybe as a technician, or something like that. Be that person that whenever there's a faulty thing, everybody's like, "Oh, go and meet Esther. Esther can solve it for you. Oh, go and meet God. God, we can work it out for you." Blah blah blah, and all that. So one way of you building your own personal brand excuse me, one way of you building your own personal brand internally within an organization without even digital platforms or without the use of digital platform is being excellent at what you do, be competent at what you do. If you are a student, be the best, be the guy that, okay, I don't understand algebra or iteration or metrics, and I come when once I ask, okay guys, I don't understand this topic in engineering maths, who can teach me? Everybody say, oh, go and meet Godwin. Godwin will just help you out. That means Godwin has developed himself so much that people are even recommending him. People are even vouching for him. Something happened recently. My elder sister graduated, convocated today from her master's, and we wanted to send her a cake. The first thing would be to check digital platform. But before that, I just had a chat with my friend, and the next thing said, oh, I know somebody that does cake. and does excellent cake. She's even the one that supplies the whole of my branches in Abuja. Now, that means that person has become so good at what he or she does that he or she can get referrals. So, being excellent at what you do will give you referrals outside social media, public speaking, and all that. So I believe that's a good way of building your personal brand. If anybody asks me about scholarships in how to attain scholarships in North America, I'm like, oh, I have a friend. His name is Adinya Godwin. He's proven, tried, tested, and trusted. He's gotten it several times. That's because Godwin has proven himself over and over and over again. That being said, you can look him up and you see that I'm not lying and what I'm saying is the truth. So that's how you build a personal brand internally within an organization, even without any social media razzmatazz attached to it. If you are an assistant to a CEO, be excellent at what you do, that the CEO can literally vouch for you. You are a data engineer, you are a lab scientist, whatever it is, communication, customer care, be competent at it, be excellent at it. Let your colleagues be the ones singing your praise. So if I come to your office and I'm asking for, oh, who is the best customer care person now? Who is the person that can handle crazy circumstances and all that? Would I hear your name called as a customer care rep, or would I hear someone else's name called? The only way I can hear your name called is if you've had a track record of being competent at it and being excellent at it. So I think that's how I can answer that question for how to build a brand outside social media. Abisoye, I see your face. Can you hear me and can you see me? Although I know you're muted again. Okay, so let me just proceed. Um, I have another question sent to me here that says, what is your advice for professionals who struggle to articulate their unique value proposition without feeling like they are bragging? This is quite interesting because we're in the era of everybody is shouting their name. Everybody is saying what they do, even the ones that can do it and the ones that cannot do it. We're in the era of ordering services from people and then you're ending up with what I ordered versus what I got. So I think it's like there are two extremes to it. There's a class of people that, oh, I won't talk about what I do. I'm just low key, quiet, and all that. That's one class. There's another class of people that they don't even, technical wise, they know what they do, but they are not excellent at it yet. But they over exaggerate it. Now they say more than they can deliver, and they are very loud and very vocal about it on social media. So I think it's like two extremes to me. So, how do you communicate that you are competent and excellent without bragging? I would say it boils down to us as individuals being sincere with ourselves, right? I know we will want to quote the saying that if you don't sell your market, nobody will sell them. If you don't talk about what you do, nobody will talk about what you do. I believe in that. I believe in that. But I also believe in you saying what you are, what you can do, and what you are capable of doing. I would not subscribe to um okay, I will use Godwin because I see him in the comment section, so I'm going to use him a lot. So Godwin um has a company called Admitica, if I'm correct. Now, when you come to Admitica, what he tells you is that we can help you secure admissions for masters and PhD in North America, for example, right? Now, Godwin has a proven track record. He's not saying it because he read about education tourism. He's not saying it as somebody that has schooled all throughout in Nigeria and has never traveled abroad. I have my own personal prejudices and biases. I have my own things I think I believe in, which you don't have to accept. For example, when it comes to education tourism, I'm quite critical on who you even use as a consultant. I don't believe in consultancy, but even if you want to do it, or migration, even if you want to do it with someone that has a track record, someone that either personally has migrated or you can verify two, three, four people that he or she has worked with and they were successful at it. Not just someone who sits at home that is here with me in Abuja or is here with me in Lagos or Ibadan and is all over the world saying, I am this, I am that. And not like empty barrels make the loudest noise, but sometimes they make so much noise that people come to meet them. With unique value proposition, there's something about you reading up about it, and then there's something about you doing it. So I can read all about education US online. I can read all about how to get master's scholarship, how to get PhD scholarship in the US or in Canada, but I have never gotten it. I don't have an experience in it. I believe Godwin is a better off person to do that because he has gotten it multiple times. And then he has a track record of not just getting it for himself, also helping and working with other people to get it. So if he's putting out a unique value proposition without even bragging, he can say, come to me, I can help you secure this based off my experience and what I do. So I would say how to put out your unique value proposition without sounding like you are bragging. Bring your social proof, the ones that you have already done. At AGT, we can pride ourselves to say we have trained so and so number of persons using our platform. We've been able, so and so number of persons have been able to get scholarships or funding or jobs from our platforms. So these are our social proof, numbers that are verifiable, not Isha Alam vibes, not I believe I can do it. If you're going to study in France or in Hungary, for example, there are some details that you might never even find on the internet about. Recently, I needed to do a government administrative procedure, and I do my due diligence. I actually googled it. I checked the procedure. Now in the era of AI, we chatted, blah blah blah. But when I started the real process, I found out that what Google and AI was telling me were true, but not completely true. There were some other loopholes and some other things, not really loopholes, some other steps that were not stated anywhere that I had to discover myself because I was going through that process. Now, after going through that process, I can advise somebody on how to go through it because I've been through it. And these were the things I discovered that were not anywhere on the internet I could find it. So, how do I say my unique selling proposition or my unique value proposition without bragging? I think I will use my social proof, what I have done so far. I can tell you what I have done so far, what I think I can do in future based on my capacity and if I expand, but I will not put out what I have not done. I will not go and say I'm an education migration researcher when I cannot pinpoint one person I have hurt or that has migrated through me. Or even me myself, I have not even migrated. So I think that's how I can answer it. It goes down to sincerity. And I also feel like these days you have more people saying over talking and under delivering because um the louder you are on the louder you are on social media, it kind of feels like people will believe you at the end of the day if you keep talking the same thing over and over. Somehow, somebody might just seem to believe you and fall victim. And you will now start hearing stories of, oh, this one happened, the other one happened. So for founders, for career people, use your social proof. I've worked on LLM channels or I've designed AI models that show prediction accuracy of like 92%. That's something you've done. It's not you lying, it's what you've worked on. So that would be my answer to that question. Um So that's question 4. I think I'll take one or two more questions, and then if there's any other question from the community, then that would be it so that I don't overstretch. Number 4 says, what is your advice for professionals who's... Oh, yeah, that's the question I just answered. Yeah, the next question I have here is, um, just give me a minute. I think it says, as a PhD researcher, how do you translate highly technical agricultural data into a compelling brand narrative that resonates with non-scientific stakeholders and industry executives? Okay, 1 minute. So this question feels like you're asking me what do I do. So I coined the name agric storyteller based off the fact that from my own research, and then everybody can check as well, there seemed to be a disconnect between the scientific world or the academic world and then the general populace. There's a whole lot of misconception about what agricultural research is: breeding, traditional breeding, hybrid breeding, GMO, blah, blah, blah. People believe it is this or it is that, not based off scientific data or anything, but based off what the media has told them. So I work in plant genetics and I work in breeding. I work with the chimeric plants and all that. Now, how do I explain this whole shebang? I do somatic embryogenesis, tissue culture, and all that. How do I explain the things I do? My first shocker was my dad calling me one of the days I was in the lab and asking me what I'm doing. I'm like, oh, I'm micropropagating. And he was like, what do you mean? I'm like, where's the soil? I'm like, oh, I plant in tubes, in glass tubes. I have a medium that the plants grow on. And it's like, no farming that I know of, you need to have a soil, you need to have this. So I had to now explain to my dad, who is in his 70s, what tissue culture is. I'll try to explain it here. So I was like, so you know orange. Orange is a fruit, gives you vitamin C, citrus. You can eat orange and get vitamin C into your system. You can also decide to take the effervescent tablets. You drop it in water and you drink, and it still gives you the same vitamin C. You can decide to take the other tablet from the white or the colored one. They all give you vitamin C. So imagine orange to be the soil, which is the main one that you take and with the fiber and everything. But what if I don't want to chew? I want to drink, but I still want the vitamin C. Every other nutrient is inside, but I just want to drink it. So I use the effervescent tablets. So my medium, which is most times we use what we call MS medium, has everything a plant needs to grow inside of it. It's salts, micronutrients, and macro and micronutrients, and sugar and all that for the plant to grow. So just like my effervescent tablet that gives me every vitamin C I need, but it's in a tablet form that you can drink. It's in a liquid form that you can drink as compared to the orange. That's what my MS media is. And then I have a growing chamber that gives it light. So photosynthesis still occurs. And that's how I grow my tubes. And I grow my plants in tubes, and I can grow as many plants as I want in a particular period of time. I was like, oh, wow, that's interesting. I was like, oh, can you grow this plant? Can you grow this? I'm like, Daddy, I can grow any plant. I just need to find out the right combination of soil nutrients that it needs for me to be able to grow that plant. So, this is one of the ways of communicating hard or complex um, agricultural terms to like general audience, and then even the management team that can even that make the decisions on it. So I've written like a lot of stories on tissue culture, somatic embryogenesis, different. And I think I started a series in January about ABCs of lab life, which I was picking terms like genetic terms, one term every day to explain based off what I do in the lab. PCR. Some of us did PCR during COVID and needed to travel. We just knew that they took a swab from our nose and they did something. We don't even understand that, oh, there was an mRNA conversion, there was annealing, there was denaturing and all that. But you can explain that in a layman term that they can understand, that like you can use PCR to say like a photocopier, you make multiple copies and you make it pretty fast and all that. So that would be how I would answer that question. We have like 2 minutes, sorry, no, 8 minutes left. So if I see any question in the comment section, I'm going to take that. If I don't see, I will be wrapping up. Apologies for the network that kicked off our host, Abisoye. Sorry about that, but I hope we to get better subsequently. But at least thank God we had some people send us questions, so we could use that today for our class. I'm sorry, for our webinar. I have a question here. It says, books or movies, which do you prefer and why? I think I'm in the middle. Yeah, I think I'll say I'm in the middle. I would say books most times, or audio books, depending on the type of what it's the genre and what it talks about. I think I prefer audio books most times. I can still read the normal ones, like the hard copy or PDF file. Movies, I'm not really so keen on movies. I would, if you had said between books, movies, and audio files, I would pick audio files. Those are my favorites anytime, any day. And the reason I would pick audio files is I can plug in my earpiece or my earbuds and listen while doing something else. But for movies or videos, I have to sit down there and watch it the whole time. So I just feel like you're tying me down. I prefer to. Like women, we multitask a lot. I am that kind of person that would transcribe a movie into an audio file and listen to it. As boring as it sounds, my friends don't like it, but I'm okay with it. Um, One time we're talking about a music when it came out, a particular song when it came out. Gyra, is it Gyra? I think so. So I'd listened to it multiple times, and then they were like, "Oh, Pastor Steve Fortix was in the video." I'm like, oh wow, I never knew because I've never watched the video. I just listened to it. Is it Jara or the one by Carrie Job and her husband? The Lord bless you and keep you. Yes, that's the one, the blessing. The blessing. So I was like, oh, I've never seen him because I've never listened to it. So I would not pick movies or books. I would say audio files. But if I have to choose between books and movies, I would do books. I think that brings us to like the end of today's section. I don't have any question in the community, but in case you want to send me a question, you can send me a question much later. I would oblige you to answer it. If I get a question in my you can send me a question on LinkedIn. I think that's like the only platform. I think that's like the only platform I'll say I'm a bit active on. So yep. So my just check my full name, Idogo Esther. You find me on LinkedIn and you can send me a question with the I think I'm wearing a green sweater or something like that. So thank you everyone for joining. Thank you, Abisoye. I know the network was quite interesting, but it's okay. It happens sometime. At least we're able to make something out. And I also pray that whoever listens to it gets something tangible from what we've said or has learned something from it. Thank you, Godway. Thank you, everyone, for your time. I don't see all the names. I've just been calling Godway because that's the only name I see that made a comment. So I'm sorry I couldn't call the rest of the names. But yeah, thank you for your time and do have a great weekend and happy April. Have a great month. Bye.